Welcome back, guys, and we're on to day 2 of the tournament. It's now game 5, and the escalation is taken up to 42-point lists, so playing P. Irusk for this one, and he's managed to grab the addition of the Great Bears and Widowmakers for this list. Now, I'm up against my friend Josh, who's probably my best friend in the War Machine and Horde scene. We play a lot together. You've seen him in many of my battle reports, and we actually played 2 practice games for this tournament. We're both Khador against Khador, and in our practice game was P. Irusk against the Old Witch. But in our discussion the previous night about how the game was going to go, he decided to go with his Harkevic list because he felt it was more geared towards killing the Colossal. He had the 2 strong jacks there, as well as the Great Bears and Ayana and Holt. And I think that Harkevic is the wrong choice because he's too easy to outmaneuver, as we may see from this game. But Josh really felt in his heart that he was better prepared with Harkevic, so that's the choice that he made. Scenario is Demolition, another favourite scenario of mine. I really love this one, but the terrain setup is really interesting because there's these houses. We're playing in the middle of a town square, and it'll be hard to manoeuvre the big boy, the Conquest, around the houses themselves. But let's see how it goes. I'm really interested to play Josh, and a lovely guy, and I wish him all the best, but unfortunately I'm going to have to do the best I can to crush him in this game because I need to get 3 control points here. Very important. Next image, here's Josh's army. He's heading around the right-hand flank here, around his house, and just going to camp his own objective and push forward through the objective in the middle to prevent me from scoring rather than going aggressively for my zone. But he's got Black Ivan there and the Spriggan and the Juggernaut, so if he can get a couple of those in on the Colossal, especially with Harkevic's feet, he should be able to survive for a little bit and then keep bashing at me and kill me. Next image, moving out here through to the middle. Conquest with superiority, Great Bear's going through the middle there. I feel like at this sort of range he's not going to do any damage on his first turn, and then the second turn I can probably feat and tank a lot of his hits and then push forward through to start getting some points from the middle. So that's the plan, trying to be a little bit more cagey than I was during our practice games, because when we actually played Irusk versus Witch in the 2 practice games we had, I lost both games due to inexperience with Irusk and mistakes. But it was really important we played those 2 practice games because I learned everything that I needed to from those games, and now I can come into this tournament knowing exactly what to do with my list. And man, I can't underestimate or overstate the importance of practice games sometimes. Next image, Harkevic moves in behind a building. He's got his escort and fortune up, keeps up, and the Jack's just moving forward there. Widowmaker's going through this little collection of piping installation here, which we're counting as a forest. And Ayana and Holt and the Great Bear's going to go around the other way, around inside that building. By the way, I really love the stained glass window of the Signar logo. It's very cool. So next image, my turn 2, decided not to feat at this point, I think. I can't quite remember whether I did or not, but the assassins just running forward, putting Iron Flesh on them after they've run, and the Colossal moving up in range. I think I've put myself in a situation where Black Ivan can't quite get to me, and even if he does, he's not going to one-round me. And the Great Bear's in a position where they can charge anything that might be contesting that objective. And fired the Conquest, critical devastation, so awesome on the Spriggan, and that sent the Spriggan and the Juggernaut flying, knocking them down. Means that Harkevic has to spend a point to jumpstart them, but no big deal. It just pushes them away, and it sort of sends a psychological message to my opponent saying, yep, if you don't do something soon, this is going to start happening more often. And if he does come very far forward, well, I can just commit with the Kiesi Assassin, the Great Mares, with Battle Lust and the Conquest as well, and hopefully reduce 2 of his jacks to rubble in 1 turn. And if that happens, then I've definitely got the game stitched up. Next image, around the other side here I've engaged Holt with one of my Widowmakers, which he's easily able to destroy, but the Great Bear's coming around to the side as well and helping to do the job, and freeing up Iron and Holt to go in and put down Kiss of Lilith if necessary. But a lot of action happening around the side of the house where the main photos from my side of the table can't be taken. I love the little mat that we're playing on too with the cobblestones. I think it's really awesome. Next image, what happens here is in my follow-up turn after he's moved Black Ivan up and taken some shots and stuff and attacked with his jacks and done some slams, I follow up with Battle Lust on the Kiesi, popping the feet with Irusk, and absolutely trashing Black Ivan with a charge from about 5 assassins and a single Great Bear. That's Yarovich. or Yarovic, however you say it, and just getting some stunning dice rolls on that, absolutely caving his head in. Unfortunately, though, due to safety reasons, I couldn't put Irusk close enough to claim a point from the middle objective. I'm going to have to do that later. But the Colossal in a great situation here, shooting another shot off again at his jacks, and with the feet up and running, the Chiesi will be really, really hard to deal with at this point because of the 4+ tough. So just setting myself up for, killing one jack per turn, hopefully, and that will really get me the win later on. Next image, Ayana and Holt have been trying to deal with these Widowmakers here. One of them shoots Ayana, and then Holt uses his quick draw to cancel that, but the other two have a crack at her and manage to finish her. So very, very important that I got rid of the Kiss of Lilith's capability there, otherwise the Great Bears might actually do some serious damage to the Colossal later on, but at this stage looking pretty good. Love his paint job on Holt as well. Next image, the Great Bears come swinging in and take care of the Widowmakers. Unfortunately, one of them failing to hit him, or actually failing to get past the 4+ tough is the more important situation, I think. And but they're in a good position to start flanking me and threatening my objective if I move off it. My control zone, that is, if I move off it with the big red. Next image, just trying to recover a little bit here with his jacks, but I've moved in with Iris to prevent either of them getting allocated focus, and Gorman has moved in to blind the Spriggan. So things just getting worse from here. The Assassin's moving over top of them with Killstroke, killing most of the mechanics, threatening the Golden Lord, who's doing a good job of removing disruption from whoever I'm shooting with Iris. He's got a couple of Widowmakers left, but they're not in a very good position to start threatening me. So things looking pretty good. The Spriggan is within charge range of the Colossal, but that won't be happening with Black Oil. Next image, the Conquest moves over and does a crit devastation on the Great Bears, unfortunately not killing them thanks to Tough, but Holt is set flying and knocked down. He wasn't killed either. But just having a lot of fun with the Colossal's gun this game, because I don't want to actually charge a thing, too much is going on, I need to protect that middle objective. He's just firing his gun round after round after round, and it's really entertaining as to, the stuff you can achieve with it. Next image, the Great Bears get up. They are not knocked down because of Kolsk, and they both charge the Colossal and do some pretty seriously heavy damage to it, but nothing to really threaten its life completely. And Irusk, of course, safe from their axes behind the big bulk of his legs. And really just feeling good there. And my habit of keeping Iris behind the Colossal is due to the threat range of arcing fire with Black Ivan, but Black Ivan now dead, so Iris can move out later if he wants to. Next image, he did something really tricky here, which was to move around with the Spriggan and bulldoze Iris into a position where he can now get a free slam attack with Juggernaut thanks to the Golden Lord being in range for Power Booster, and this is his way of dealing with my models this whole game, is just slamming his own jacks over my Chiesi and over my Solo, so that managed to net the kill there with Iris. And really gets rid of her, so he'll have two operational jacks later on, but I do have a Gorman to Black Oil, although I think what happened later on is he moved one of his Widowmakers around and got a lucky shot on him and killed him that way. So next photo, here's the situation. I actually realized that Josh had managed to get himself into a bit of a hopeful situation here by lining up a 2-charge against my heavy with his 2 jacks. So I realized the only thing I could do here in desperation was to, well, not so much desperation, but I really needed to think carefully about not losing this game after playing so well. I had all my assassins in the zone, but I decided to run them back in front of his jacks rather than finishing off the rest of his solos and units, because if I did lose the Colossal, then I would have nothing left to kill his jacks with, and the game would be over unless I could get the damage done with the assassins. So Iron Flesh back up on the assassins. Irusk has basically spent because he's got extra range with Iron Flesh thanks to Wishnell, and then he's moved back after casting the spell. So in order to kill the Colossal, he'll have to find a way of killing the assassins and then charging through, and I don't think he can achieve that. So I felt like that was the correct move for the situation. Next image, though, what he decides to do is simply trample over the assassins, which I'm okay with because he loses his initial attacks, and he'll only have 2 focus to spend buying lance attacks in up the butt. So that's exactly what happens, but Obviously, Conquest wearing his Arse Protector for this particular round and doesn't take any significant damage from the Spriggan. Well, not enough for him to completely die anyway. Next image, the Juggernaut does the same thing, trampling over and spinning 2 focus with the Ice Axe to polish off some more damage, but really importantly, he hasn't lost his left arm or his right arm or his cortex, and I've got 3 mechanics there to repair him a little bit, and these jacks have both already taken some damage, so with the assassins there as well, it's time to take out the trash. Next image, this is what happens. 3 focus to the big boy, turns around, he's got one jack in each field of fire, and just starts pummeling them. What he ended up doing is he wiped out the Spriggan. I think that was the more important one to kill because the Juggernaut's in range of the assassins, and Mechanics repairing a few boxes, but not that many, and really just laying waste to these guys with his big meaty fist. And that's what Colossal's all about, you know, just outstripping these smaller jacks and having a field day boxing them around. Just really awesome stuff. Next image, Kiazi assassins moving in with their walk distance, not their charge, drop to Iron Flesh, attacking the Juggernaut in the rear, and they get a backstrike bonus additional die damage, so that actually did a little bit more damage on him. I think he had a little bit of life left, but not enough systems ready to really put the hurt on the big boy. So next photo, what happens here is that Harkevic has run around and he tried to get a last-minute spell assassination against Irusk, but failed, and Irusk was camping too many focus. And then what I did here is I moved through and smashed Harkevic into the ground with a Colossal, which is a fitting way to finish the game off. I really wanted to farm him for more control points, but there wasn't really a viable situation to do that without Harkevic continually getting assassination attempts on Irusk with Wishnailer and the boosted Razor Winds and everything. But I did manage to score 2 control points here because I think I got one earlier, and no, actually I only got one in the end because you get 1 round of scoring after their caster dies, and Irusk was in control of the objective at that stage. So really wonderful photo to end the report off, and I felt that my list really had the advantage over his, and I played it correctly, so I managed to get the win. And if I can get one more win and lots of control points in the next game, that's what we're going to be looking for, then it might be me in the finals. So just got to play my best in this next round.